Hello, beautiful people. Let me walk you through the process of making this delicious, sumptuous dinner for my family. In this plate, you'll see Nigeria's smoky jollof with some chicken and goat meat, accompanied by soft, yummy dodo, which is plantain. Yeah, I know the plantain is a little brown. Hey, we're not gonna be wasting food in this economy, so it's brown. So enjoy. Now, let me show you the process. In this bowl, as you can see, I have my pepper mixture here. It's all cleaned. I have some peeled and clean ginger. I've got habanero peppers. I've got garlic, as well as some onion and some red bell pepper. They're all chopped and clean. In another bowl, I have crushed tomatoes, as well as some tomato paste. So I'll walk you through the process I use with making my own meal. So in a blender, I'm gonna be blending both the peppers mixture and the crushed tomatoes together. As you can see, my tomato is still a bit frozen because I just got it out of the freezer, but I'm gonna be blending it together with the pepper mixture. Everything is gonna be blended together, and we'll continue showing you the process as we make this yummy, yummy, delicious smoky jollof. Stay tuned. All right, now that I have the peppers in the blender, I'm just gonna blend for a couple of minutes so that everything can be well combined. I'm blending it to puree everything together. So right now my pepper is well blended, and I'm gonna go ahead and pour it in a bowl while I blend the rest of the pepper. With this pepper being blended, you can make yours to be more finer than this, but for me, this is absolutely perfect. All right, so I already cleaned my pot. It's already sitting on the stove and it's dry right now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pour in my oil. For me, I use canola oil. You can use any oil of your preference. But for me, I have my canola oil poured into this hot pot to warm it up a little bit. I'm not gonna let it get too hot before I start adding my onion into it, just because I don't want it to burn too quickly. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and start pouring in the onions. I'm just gonna fry that a little bit until I'm ready to add the other ingredients into it. So as you can see, the onion isn't sizzling as much because the oil is not as much. I like my onion to fry into the pot, not burning instantly as I'm adding it into it. And as you can see here, that the onion is fried. Now I'm going in with some clean bay leaf, and I'm just gonna fry those a little bit to get the flavor from the bay leaf to be infused into the oil. So while that is going on, I'll fry that for about a minute or two, just to get those flavor out of the to extract those flavor out of the bay leaf. But now I'm gonna be going in with my tomato paste, and that would also be fried. I know I showed about 3 cans earlier. I ended up using only two tomato paste because I just think that's sufficient for the quantity I'm gonna be making. And I cook in big batches, so this can last us for a couple of days. So for this pot of size for the size of the food I'm making. I think two cans of tomato paste is just accurate and it's sufficient for the purpose. So I'm using two. But again, you can go in with one, you can go in with two. This is you cooking to your own preference. But for me, I'm just gonna go in now and start mixing those tomato paste into the oil to keep frying. And while this is being fried, I went ahead and added my seasoning into it. I added some curry, thyme, adobo, and some nut cube into it. I usually don't start my meal with salt. I'll add that later as needed. Now that all that is combined, I added in the blended pepper into the mix, and I'm just gonna stir everything together to combine the tomato paste into the pepper mixture, and that way all the seasoning can can cook together. I'm pretty much frying the stew until I'm ready to go in with the next process. As part of me prepping this pepper stew, which is the base. I also added some chicken broth. So in this here, my chicken broth again is frozen. I keep stuff in my freezer, so it's useful for me while I'm cooking because I do a lot of cooking. But as you can see here, my chicken broth is a little bit frozen. And I did cover the stew to fry a little bit. As you can see here, that after a couple of minutes, my stew is well fried, and I'm just turning it. And at this point, I'm gonna taste to see if I need to add any additional seasoning to the base or not. And what I had happened to be perfect as of this time. So I'm just gonna dive in with my rice. All right, so the process continued. Again, as I mentioned, I cook in big batch. I'm feeding a family of five, so you can imagine. So right now, I already washed my rice on the side, and I'm just going in now to scoop in my cleaned rice into the base. And while I'm adding the rice, an important fact is that you need to turn down the temperature of your stove because jollof rice have the tendency of burning. And I do know also that the burnt part of jollof rice is the best part, but you don't want most of your food to get burnt. You want it to be cooked, well cooked, with very, very minimal burn. So I turned down my stove to very low. And your stove might be configured differently, so use your judgment. But mine uses numbers, so I turn it down from 10 to 4. And right now that the rice is well combined with the stew base, I'm just gonna go ahead and cover it up and let it simmer and cook together. As you can see, after a few minutes, my rice and stew are well combined. And right now, what I'm doing is I'm just gonna mix the stew together with the rice, and then I'm gonna be checking for taste. I'm gonna be tasting for flavor. I'm doing the flavor check here to see if there's a need to add any additional seasoning or if the rice is soft enough to my liking. And at this point, if you notice that your rice need some kind of enhancement, if you want to elevate the taste, you can add one or two cubes of your Maggi cubes. I use no. You can start by adding one to taste, just so you don't overdo it. So you can start by adding one cube, and you taste again. If you need additional seasoning, you can then add another cube. But it also, you can add some adobo seasoning or seasoned salt for taste. So right now I'm mixing the rice and the stew together just to make sure that the seasoning is well proportioned and it's well seasoned and mixed with the rice. I'm just gonna go ahead and cover again for it to cook. Again, I did cover it after a while, and now again it's cooked some more. At this point, I'm going in with some butter, because I do like my rice to be well seasoned, and you want that buttery taste to just melt into your mouth. Okay, so right now I'm adding some butter. I'm also gonna be adding some onion to the rice, because you just want to see those string of onion as you're biting into your rice. So I'm adding some onion. And while I taste my rice, it seemed to be a little bit harder than I would like. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add just a little bit of water, and just to make sure that it's a little softer. Some people like their jollof rice hard. So if your preference is to have a hard rice so it doesn't stick together, you can keep it as is and just steam it longer. But for me, at this point, while I did the temperature check, the rice seemed a little harder than I would have preferred. So I went in with just a little bit of water to make sure that the rice continued to cook and it's well moistured and it's soft enough for my family to consume. So as you can see, I mixed in the water with the food, with the rice. I'm gonna spread it evenly, and I'll go ahead and cover. And when I cover this time, I'm gonna be adding a foil sheet to cover this so you can get that smoky effect. So the foil will enable the rice to steam. So again, my stove is still turned down low, and it's gonna continue to slow cook. And while I have the foil, I covered it up. And once that is done, voila! You have this beautiful plate that I have plated. This here is a serving for one of my family member. So enjoy.